Right now, we're joined by the outgoing president of Dillard University. No, he wasn't bounced out. He decided to leave on his own. Dr. Walter Kimbrough. He was formerly the president at Philander Smith. 16 years as president? How long?
I'm in my 18th year.
18th year.
Yeah,
your 18th year.
It's a lifetime.
And so, good alpha man. Glad to see you here. So, first question. What you doing? Did you just say, you know what, it's time to step down and recharge and find out what's the next thing for you?
Yeah, so, I always tell people, blame it on me growing up United Methodist with this itinerant ministry. So 7.5 years at Philander, going into my 10th year at Dillard. And I think the pandemic gave everybody a chance to think about a lot of things. And for me, when I think about it, I'm 55, turned 55 this year. I'm 7 years younger than the average college president, but I spent a third of my life as a college president. So it's time to sort of think about what should I do next. So I had a conversation last summer with Janetta Cole, and she did the same thing at Spelman. Entering her 10th year, she said, I'm leaving. And, of course, she's a record-setting president at Spelman. And I called her and I said, why'd you make that decision? She said, Brother President, it's good for the institution, and it's good for you, too. And it's the way that she said it, it convicted me. I was like, yeah, do something else. You still got time to be creative. You can still stay in the HBCU space. But, like you, I'm a graduate of the University of Georgia. So there's opportunities in the predominantly white space as well. So I'm open to new opportunities.
So I juxtapose what you just said to Dr. Harvey, who just retired at Hampton. And he was there, what, 40? So,
yeah, like 44 years.
40 plus years. I mean, that is a very long time. First of all, it's rare to have somebody be the president of an HBCU or any institution for that long. But also, I think it's a part of it. I also look at this as when you've left a place in the right position, then frankly, you make it easier for the next person to take it to the next level.
Right. No, exactly. I think that institutions like HBCUs and a lot of institutions are living organisms. And so Dillard today is not the same Dillard that it was 10 years ago. We were still rebuilding from Hurricane Katrina. We didn't have all of our buildings open. So it's a very different place. And so as the institution grows, there's somebody who has different skills and strengths that will help at this point in time. And I want a different experience too. So how do I grow as a person and look for those as well? And I don't think people think about that. They're just like, I'm going to ride this until the wheels fall off. I'm like, that's okay. But, everybody knows people who retire on the job as well. And I'm not going to be that person. So I want to make sure I get different experiences. And because Dillard is in a really good place, let someone come in with new creativity, new energy, and take us to another level. That's a win for everybody.
I look at one of your counterparts, Dr. Ruth Simmons, who stepped down at Prairie View A&M University. Although I'm still trying to figure out what's going on there. When I read the statement, I was kind of like, I was trying sort of reading between the lines. I didn't get the sense that she was ready to leave, but I'm gonna try to have a conversation with her eventually.
Right.
But walk folks through, and definitely, Juliana is on our panel today. First of all, you last in 10 years. It's a whole. I mean, if there's one untenable position, it has been a lot of HBCUs. I mean, shuffling presidents in and out, a lot of instability, changing of leadership. That is a detriment to any institution when you have that much turmoil. I've heard from HBCU presidents who said that the stress, the constant fundraising, battle with alumni and boards of trustees, some folks are like, you know what, I'm just not dealing with all of this.
Yeah, no, it's so, I've started to study to look at those 10 years, and for all college presidents, the 10 years have dropped. So I think the average now might be 6 years for all college presidents. For HBCUs, it was hovering around 4. So really, people get one contract, their first contract, 3, 4, 5 years, and they're done if they make it through that. So this one of the, it's just hard. I heard Cornel West say once, that when you lead people who sometimes hate themselves, there's a cost that's wrought from you. I believe that. You just see it. It's just people who are dealing with their stuff. And sometimes as a president, I've learned to not take things personally, because sometimes people are lashing out, and it might be at me, and it has nothing to do with me. It's stuff going on. And when you start digging in those layers, you're dealing with hurt people. And so you got people who got issues at home. They got financial challenges, just being black in America, all those things. And you lead that group. It's a hard job.
I've said this, and I tick some folks off. And first of all, I've ticked some people off for a very long time. I don't really care, because actually, you know, before I ask that, before I talk about that, here's one of the things that does bother me. And I want to, and because you said it, so you went to Georgia, and I do believe this is a problem in the HBCU world, where there is this attitude or distrust of folk who are black who didn't go to HBCUs. And in some ways, there's a level of HBCU shaming, where you have, first of all, you got some black folks who look down on folks with HBCUs, but then you got some HBCU people who question one's blackness. I even when I had the Football Star Telegram, Valerie Hill, and I bust Valerie out in person on this here. When we first met, we were around the photographer's pen, and someone introduced me to her, and she says, "Oh, this is the brother who knew who he was with the Texas A&M." I was like, "I don't know who the hell you think you talking to." And I said, "Baby, I grew up in a black neighborhood with a black family, went to a black church, black elementary school, black middle school, black high school." I said, "I think by the time I got to college, I knew I was black." I said, "So you might want to back up." And I've had to deal with people on that. And what I've said is, how are you gonna fight folk who believe in helping black folks, but you're holding against them because they didn't go to an HBC institution? I want knowledgeable folks, regardless of where they come from, to help.
Right. No, exactly. So my wife and I talk about this. We think, and she, the HBCU graduate, Talladega College, we always say that people at HBCUs might not trust you unless you have 2 of the 3 sort of silos of blackness. HBCU graduate, black church, black fraternity sorority. So I got 2 of the 3.
And you got to throw black spouse in there, because some folk get
right.
Might be 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So, right. So so it's like I got those 2, but the same as you. I grew up here in Atlanta, black elementary, middle, high school. I mean, I've been around blackness all the time, so I was able to make that. But then I'll tell people I would argue the greatest HBCU president was Benjamin Mays, who went to Bates College in Maine. So he didn't go to an HBCU, and he created this idea of a Morehouse man. So, and he's always been my role model. My high school, Benjamin Mays High School, was named after him because he was superintendent of schools here in Atlanta. So, as long as those people understand blackness, I think that's okay. But there is sometimes that sort of stigma, like, oh, well, you didn't attend an HBCU. And a lot of times, people who attend an HBCU, once they come back and work at one, realize that's a different experience. Because students a lot of times don't fully understand what has to happen to make that institution run.
Right.
So just by attending doesn't mean you're an expert on HBCU.
And I want to deal with that, because one of the things that, and I said this a couple of months ago, about a month and a half ago, and I was talking about specifically in the area of sports, media rights, things along those lines, that there's a whole lot that HBCU folks don't know in terms of how this business operates. I've said that there have been some bad deals people have signed that I personally believe that folks have not, that they've been undervalued, if you will, negotiating. I believe that many of us, we talk about the pain of black folks, many of us suffer from white validation. We believe that if CNN doesn't show up, or if ESPN doesn't show up, therefore it's not legitimate. When in reality, my whole deal is, if you can own the product, then you actually can make more money than you might signing a rights deal with ESPN. And one of the things that I said is, I said to all HBCU presidents, if you don't know jack about this space, and your AD don't know, and your general counsel don't know, please go out and hire some African Americans with unique skill set in these areas that can maximize your revenue when it comes to sports rights, when it comes to licensing deals and things along those lines. And that rubs some people the wrong way when I said that there are people who are sitting on boards of trustees right now who ain't got no business being on those boards. I said, now y'all can be mad all y'all want to, but I also see it in black organizations. I fundamentally believe that there has to be a massive shakeup in what I call black leadership, because we got a lot of nice people, but they simply don't have the expertise for the areas and the size of the budgets they're governing.
Right.
Your thoughts?
Right. No, exactly. So, I mean, it's interesting you said that. You were sharing some information with me about that. Our athletic conference, Gulf Coast Athletic Conference, we're small NAIA schools, but at our president's meeting last week, we were having these conversations to say, what's the best package for us, working with some African-American companies to say, how do we, share our content? Can we do it through TV? Can we do it streaming? How do we get that revenue? So we're having that conversation even as a small, and realizing we don't have the expertise. So let's go out there and reach it. Every company that we've been talking to and getting these RFPs for are black-owned companies to help us do exactly what you said. So there are some of us who are listening, because I think you're right. And I think you made the point. You're saying people are excited. You're on ESPN3, but you still watching that online. So it's not like you're on regular ESPN.
Nope.
You ain't getting nothing from it.
Right.
So you're just saying,
so if you
on
get
ESPN.
if you getting zero,
right,
all you getting is just say, yeah, that we're on ESPN.
Right.
And I'm sorry, that just makes no sense to me.
Right.
Because I've traveled. I mean, like I said, Dr. Lomax, I've been Dillard. I've probably been, I've been in Philander.
Right.
I've probably been, I think I'm around 65 HBCUs. And every time I go to one, and it's just natural for me, I access media, I access equipment, I access facilities. I've said to every single one of the HBCUs, look, I have experts on my show all the time. Every HBCU should have basically a Skype room with their monitor, with their camera, where their professors can come in, do interviews, things along those lines. I say it because that's what University of Virginia does, and A&M and other universities. And every time when I throw this thing out, people are like, man, well, we ain't got the money. I said, y'all, we do stuff with this show. And we did a broadcast, and the cast from NBC were like, damn, we were watching that march y'all covered. How in the hell y'all look that good? Y'all had 3 people. But when you know what you're doing,
right,
then you can make that thing pop. And so that's where, I'm always there. My whole deal is, don't lead with, we can't, or we ain't got this, or well, no. Say, what's possible?
Right.
What's doable? What can we do within parameters of this budget?
Right. No, I agree. And I think part of it is just making sure that we're getting our people to be out there, to be accessible. We got to understand that things operate in what I call, or journalists call, internet time. So, for example, if you send me a text and say, hey, I'm doing X, Y, and Z on the show, you're not going to wait for me for hours to respond to you, because you got to keep moving. So I'm going to text you and say, yeah, I'm good, or no, I can't do it. And sometimes we don't have that mindset. We want to run through and let me send this to this person. That you don't have time for all that. So we miss opportunities.
Doc, I can't tell you how many people I've told that to, and I said, I can't do it today. How about Thursday? This is going to be a whole new story on Thursday.
Right, it's a new cycle. Right. So we got to still keep learning that. So I think you got to keep giving that message out, and people, because they'll ask us, Dillard, I've shown them, media ad values. We have companies that will show how much of a media value you're getting for these appearances. When I first got Dillard, it was $15 million. Last year it was $85 million. And there's more than most of the people in the city of New Orleans. And if you do per student, it's even more than Tulane. So it's like, well, how are y'all doing that? Because we take advantage of the opportunity.
There you go.
And black media counts too, and people don't understand that, but they counting all of that. They counting all of
Sustained.
that. So if I got Dr. Robert Collins on your show,
yes.
they count that. That's my media value.
There you go. What would you say has been, I ask book authors this all the time. What has been your biggest wow moment? That something that shocked you, that you were just blown away by in these 18 years as an HBCU president?
Man, that's, I would say probably over the last few years was right before the 2016 election, when we were hosting a Senate debate and David Duke qualified. First of all, I was shocked that he qualified. Now, I think they still rigged the numbers because he had never polled above 3%. And the week before our debate, he gets to 3%, and then he drops right back down. So I think it was good TV. So I was like, but, the outrage that people had, and I kept telling people, we missed the sign that things were about to change in this country. So when you saw Trump get elected, people were shocked. I was like, I wasn't shocked because I saw Duke pop up, and I don't think it was a signal.
Yep.
it was a signal. So that was just how people responded, and people, got in their feelings and wanted us to shut things down. And we didn't want to be activists and say, well, how do we prevent those things from happening? We just want to holler and scream and say, well, don't let him speak on campus. Well, that's not doing nothing. You got to get out there and do some other things. You got to vote. You got to do these things. And we didn't want to do that. We just want to complain. So that was a shock for me to watch. But once I look back on it, I was like, oh, that was a sign that everybody missed, that this Trump thing is about to happen.
You took a lot of heat when Candace Owens came to Dillard.
Yeah, a little bit. Not too bad. People were upset, and I was like, no, let me tell you, that room was packed because students wanted to hear, because it's like, who is this black girl riding for Trump like this? And it's like, y'all need to learn how to make arguments with some of these folks. I think that was a value for me. It's like, how do you study and listen to some of the nonsense she's saying? And it sounds good. She can make it sound good, but she don't have her facts right. But y'all got to learn how to be able to deal with the facts. I think that the issue now, listening to Bill Barr today, Trump has created this environment where people are not interested in facts.
No.
I got people telling me stuff about HBCUs, and I'm like, I've been a president for 18 years.
Right.
They can't even spell HBCU, and they telling me my facts are wrong and Trump is right.
Well, we've experienced that over the last 3 or 4 years, where every time something would happen, and all of these, they would have these black folks, they would jump out and they would start hollering and talking. I'm like, whoa, y'all know what the hell y'all talking about?
Nope.
And then you would come on Twitter and lay this whole thing out, and people would, they would try to throw something else out. It was kind of like, y'all, like, you have no idea. I remember, I remember there was somebody who was trying to tell you, yeah, I've only actually been a president.
Right. I'm looking at actual budgets. You talking about what you heard this man say. It's like, I'm looking at my budget. I'm looking at the federal budget. I'm looking at his budget. I'm looking at all of it. I'm looking at real numbers. And you did come back and just say, well, you just don't like Trump. It ain't about me liking him. Let's deal with the facts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we got to do better.
Most, I got to say the wow moment, but that most enjoyable moment or thing that you've experienced?
Every year for me is graduation. It's just, and the stories like this year we had the young lady who, it just went viral. She texted me at 4:45 in the morning saying, I am not going to make graduation. I just got admitted to the hospital to have this baby. And we had been talking for weeks to try to figure out how I was like, all right, so you think you're going to make it? Well, the doctor's going, induce later on. I said, okay, well, if you're feeling funny at the ceremony, we're going to move you up and get you out of there. So she didn't make it to the ceremony. So I was like, all right, well, give me your schedule. My wife and I went down the next day, gave her degree. And it was all over everything. People just shocked. I was like, this is what I would do for any student. That's just, so it's somebody like her, or it's when we gave Garrett Morris, who is a Dillard grad, honorary degree. That's one of my favorite Dillard pictures, because he's just leaning on me, just bawling. And it was just, like, this guy is over generations. Older alums know him for Saturday Night Live, me for Jamie Foxx and Martin. He's on Two Broke Girls. He's just this long career. But to see him on that stage with these big tears because he's getting this honorary degree is something I'll never forget.
That story absolutely did go viral. And now, so I got to ask you this here. There are some presidents who cannot stand the students who come on the stage dancing or doing something. But then you got like Winston-Salem State.
Yeah.
He encourages it. His whole deal is like, look, this y'all day.
Right.
Well, where do you come down on that?
So it doesn't really bother me. I remember when I was at Albany State, we used to laugh. I was a VP down there, and the VP, she would say, graduation is a dignified ceremony. As soon as she finished that, the air horn started going off. We were like, Dr. Brown, get us up. It's not going to happen. So it's like, and ours having at Dillard, you got a couple who will do it. It hadn't been just excessive. So it's cool. I'm just like, don't slip, because if you fall and hurt yourself, I'm clowning you. And it was like somebody this year when the switch fell. I'm like, see, you never going to live that down.
Right.
So be careful.
Right. You're going to be a meme
forever.
Forever.
Right, forever. So just make sure that they can get slick up there. Don't fall, because if you do, I'm laughing.
All right, so, okay, this is the last question, and I know I got my Poor People's Campaign guest. I'm over time, so just hold on. Last question, and I know you can't say me, because I didn't do Philander or Dillard when you were president. But the best now I would have killed it. Ask the other 14 HBCUs. But anyway.
But I always have you, though, because every
that's
time
right.
you're on campus, you kill it.
I'm just saying, I know.
Like I said, after the David Duke thing and things are going crazy, I was like, who can make sense of this? It was you. So you came in after, so I'm like, definitely, I understand that.
Your best, at all your commencements, absolute best commencement speaker.
I don't know. It's a hard, people would go between Denzel and Michelle Obama. Denzel's is going viral. It's the second most watched ever. He was great. But I'm going to tell you, last year, Michael Ealy went straight black power that people were not ready for. I don't think I was ready for him.
Really?
Michael Ealy, that was one of the most, because I had faculty members saying, okay, he might have been the best.
Wow.
That brother, he really prepared. But you just, because people just thought, my wife said these women came looking for the eye candy. They got meat and potatoes. Brother was deep. He was deep. I was like.
All right, so the folks who didn't see it,
it's on our YouTube channel. Michael Ealy's commencement speech was absolutely fantastic. So for me, he might be my number one. And like I said, Janelle Monáe was great. Chance the Rapper, we've had some great ones. But that Michael Ealy, he caught everybody off guard.
Really?
He caught, yeah. He was like, because, he's just saying, like, why are we, once again, this white validation. He said, why is everybody trying to be the black Bill Gates? I don't everybody hear themselves say, I want to be the white Oprah. We were like, okay. He went there. It was great.
Okay.
Michael Ealy.
I'm gonna have to hit him up on that.
Yeah, he was great.
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
Then I got to give him a call. So, all right, then. Dr. Kimbrough, always good to see you, man.
Anytime, man.
Good luck on what's next. Let us know what it is.
I will.
And we definitely will chat about it.
All right. Sounds good.
I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. All right, folks. Back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Love our new Alexa.
It's a Buick.
Yeah, Alexa.
Buick.
Alexa.
It's a Buick.
It's an Alexa. It's a Buick. It's an Alexa. Coach, that's a Buick. That's an Alexa.
The Buick Enclave with available Alexa built-in.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?